It's just a perfect day for going anywhere. It's the last Sunday of summer. Destination Citi Field. As the Mets and their fans say goodbye to summer and send the Mets off on the road. At Citi Field in New York, Pick Sports presents New York Mets baseball. Today, the Mets play the Atlanta Braves. Today's game is brought to you in high definition by Verizon Fios. Call 1-888-GET-FIOS. And a pleasant good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. Gary Cohen, Keith Hernandez with you. Hall of Famer Ralph Connor joins us in a little bit. The Mets close out their three-game series against the Atlanta Braves. The Braves have taken the first two. It's been an up-and-down season for the Mets. They've had lots of highs and lots of lows. And yesterday, maybe a play emblematic of their whole season. Highs and lows all wrapped up in one courageous play involving Luis Hernandez.
Well, Luis Hernandez getting the start at second base, and he fouls this ball off his ankle, and boy, he took forever to get back in the box. And when he gets back in the box, he hits his second home run of the year. And you can see as he rounds the bases how painful it was. X-rays later showed that he broke his foot. He's out, obviously. It is the first home run, ironically, hit by a second baseman this year for the New York Mets. And it's very painful to watch. And it is emblematic of the season here.
Certainly creates an indelible moment for the Mets this season. Of course, one of the bright spots for the Mets this year has been the incredible story of R.A. Dickey. And R.A. coming off a complete game his last time out goes for his 12th win today.
Well, R.A. has been a great surprise here. And where would the Mets be without him in this season if they didn't bring him up and he doing the job that he's doing? His last start against the Pirates was outstanding. Got his 11th win. His start against the Braves in Atlanta in that four-game set, he got touched up here. So maybe a little redeemer here. He's got something. The Mets are trying to play spoiler.
The Braves, meanwhile, begin the day with a two-game lead in the National League wildcard race, and one of the key reasons, the performance the last couple of weeks of Derek Lowe, who all of a sudden has kicked it into gear.
Well, get back to that four-game set in Atlanta. When we were there, the newspapers were screaming for Bobby Cox to take him out of the rotation. He skipped a start, had a cortisone shot. Boy, he's been on a roll, pitching great form down the stretch.
Career-high 12 strikeouts in his last start. So it's the Mets and Braves wrapping up a three-game series at Citi Field. Come on back. All the action this afternoon right here on Pix 11. Dealers. By Delta, keep climbing. By Verizon, the signal is yours. Wield it to transmit anything you want. By Bank of America. by HBO's new series Boardwalk Empire. Stay tuned for a sneak preview of tonight's premiere. And by Hyundai, people are talking about Hyundai Uncensored. See what they're saying at Hyundai.com. This is the official online shop of the Mets at Mets.com. Browse the largest selection of official gear, including the latest apparel, nostalgic memorabilia, and authentic classics for the whole family. Get your gear from the official source, the Mets.com shop, except no substitutes. Who's Hot is brought to you by HBO's hot new series Boardwalk Empire. The premiere episode is tonight at 9, only on HBO. An incredible stretch for Troy Tulowitzki. 14 home runs the last 15 games. That ties a Major League record held by Barry Bonds and Albert Bell. Cole Hamels has been almost unhittable for the Phillies. He will pitch against the Braves in their series coming up starting tomorrow night. And CC Sabathia gets his 20th win, first time in his career. Now 20-6 for the Yankees, who lead by a half game in the American League East. R.A. Dickey getting set for the start on a gorgeous Sunday afternoon in New York. First pitch coming up from Citi Field in just a moment.
Dickey's been hot at home. Pitched well here at the big spacious ballpark here at Citi. Stay hot. And just Jason Hayworth, an awesome rookie year. The odds-on candidate for rookie of the year. He's been red hot. And look out from where did this guy come from? Sent down to the minors. Just come back and had a terrific day yesterday. Keep him off the bases as well as driving in those runs.
Look at the Braves starting lineup, brought to you by Bank of America. And this is crunch time for Atlanta as they move into the final 2 weeks of the season. So Brian McCann playing all 3 games of this series. Rick Ankiel gets his first start in the series. He'll play center, and Nate McLeod in left as the Braves try and make it a sweep of the Mets this afternoon. R.A. Dickey will try and prevent that.
Well, R.A.'s 24th start. My goodness. 24 starts. One of the first guys that was sent down in spring training, and here he is going for his 12th victory. Look at the earned run average, the walks. We've talked ad nauseum about how terrific the 37 walks and 154 innings for a knuckleballer. That is so unusual. Just a terrific year he's having. And a look at the defense is brought to you by Time Warner Cable's all the best triple play. And of course, there you go. 14th game total. He's catching Dickey. And Tejada is back at second base. Luis Hernandez, we told you about the broken foot. And there's the pesky Omar Infante.
The Braves begin the day 3 games behind the Phillies in the National League East. They begin a 3-game series tomorrow in Philadelphia. The Phillies have their pitching lined up exactly the way they want, with Hamels, Halladay, and Oswalt going in the 3 games. Not so much for Bobby Cox's team. They have Jair Jurgens, who's been struggling, going tomorrow night. Then Mike Minor, the rookie, on Tuesday, and Tommy Hanson on Wednesday. So it kind of plays in the Phillies' favor. However, the Braves begin the day with a 2-game lead in the wild card over the Giants, who lost yesterday to Milwaukee, and the Giants have scored just 1 run in 2 games against the pitching poor Brewers. That has really hurt their cause.
Well, it's just called 2 weeks left in the season. As you look at the standings, you'll find out about a lot of people when races are tight like this.
Well, you're finding out about Troy Tulowitzki. We showed that stat before. 14 home runs in 15 games. It's just an unbelievable stretch for a guy who missed more than a month because of a wrist injury, and the Rockies just 1 game out of first place beginning play today.
I liked how the Rockies bounced back after losing 2 out of 3 to home to the Padres.
So Omar Infante leads things off, and Infante takes the knuckleball inside. We're underway. Infante at .336 on the year. Right now is 15 plate appearances shy of qualifying for the batting lead. He's 5 points behind Carlos Gonzalez, who leads the league in hitting. And a fastball in for a strike, and it's 1-1.
And I must say, I mean, not taking anything away from Infante. He's a first-time All-Star, picked by Charlie Manuel, the Phillies, for the National League All-Star team. He's a terrific player, but he hasn't really played every day. And you kind of want the kid from Colorado to win. He's played every day. He's had a great year.
It looked for a while as though Gonzalez and Joey Votto and Albert Pujols all might have a chance for a triple crown this year. Doesn't look like that's going to happen. Infante pokes one off the end of the bat, and it's 2-2.
There's enough to look at in the papers every day or on TV with this National League races. I mean, the wild card is bunched up. Obviously, the NL West is anybody's up for grabs.
The only thing that appears to be settled is that the Reds are going to win the Central. 2-2. Infante is grounded slowly. David Wright cuts it off. And the side toss gets Infante for the first down. The Reds begin the day with a magic number of 8 for clinching the National League Central, as the Cardinals have failed to put on the charge that they would have hoped.
Well, the Cardinals have just gone in the tank. They've pulled an El Foldo.
And they were beaten by the Padres yesterday, and they were beaten by Ryan Ludwig, who hit a 3-run homer in the 9th, the former Cardinal, beating his old team in St. Louis.
And that had to feel good for Ryan, I'm sure.
Here's Jason Hayward hitting second in the order. Takes the knuckleball for a strike. Hayward 2 for 8 in this series. Hit that very impressive home run on Friday night. On base percentage over .400 for the year.
There's the hard knuckleball. He had a terrific series in that 4-game set in Atlanta when the Mets went down to Georgia.
Martin Prado on deck. In the air to shallow right center. Tejada out, Pagan in, and Tejada goes out to get it for the second out. Ruben Tejada back in the lineup today and showing good range on the pop-up.
You see Pagan's telling him, I called you off, it's my ball. But I like Tejada's aggressiveness there. I like it is the outfielder's ball when they call you off. But I like the fact that he wasn't timid on that pop-up. It's the sun day today, too. A lot of sun.
So now Martin Prado bats with 2 out and nobody on, and not unusual to see Dickey retire the first 2 hitters. In fact, Dickey in 23 prior starts this year has given up a total of 3 first-inning runs. And opposing hitters are hitting just .138 against RA in the first inning this year.
People are feeling him out the first time through the order. See how the knuckleball's breaking. To me, it looks like he's got great stuff today. He's getting off that knuckleballs dancing all over the place early.
He had tremendous movement in his last start against the Pirates, a complete game 5 hitter. He said the wind was blowing in his face just the way he liked it. Prado lifts one out to center field. Beltran drifting back, and he's there to put it away, and Dickey has himself another successful first inning. The Braves go 1-2-3. Mets come to bat against Derek Lowe in a moment. Pretty much the same lineup the Mets ran out there yesterday, with the exception of Tejada at second base. Lucas Duda all of a sudden has come alive after the miserable start to his career. Had a nice looking double against Tim Hudson yesterday.
Nice to see. And we talked at the top here about Derek Lowe and how he was going to be yanked from the rotation. Got the cortisone shot, missed a turn in the rotation, and boy, he's been outstanding ever since. He's got 2 straight games where he's only given up 1 run in 14 innings.
Jose Reyes hit his 11th home run of the year yesterday, a bullet into the seats in right field. Jose 3 for 8 in this series and has driven in a couple of runs. It's the 4th time the Mets have faced Derek Lowe this year. He's yet to beat them, even though he's pitched pretty well on all 3 of his prior starts. Reyes has his on base percentage up to .324. That's about as high as it's been all year. And he cracks this one out to right field, but right there is Jason Hayward waiting for it. And that's the first out.
And we'll take a look at the defense. It's brought to you by Time Warner Cable's All the Best Triple Play. And you can see the young man behind the plate, the All-Star. That's pretty impressive right there. He's a workhorse back there. And I'm sure they're going to have to, as time goes on, sit him down a little more. But boy, what a great career Mr. McCann has had.
Not going to sit him this time of year.
Oh, this is go to the whip. Are you kidding?
Here's Angel Pagan. 2 hits yesterday. In fact, he's had multiple hits in his last 4 starts. Didn't start on Friday because of a family matter that kept him out of the starting lineup, but came back with 2 hits yesterday, up to .296 for the year.
He would love to hit 300. I know that. And you're so close, yet so far. When you have that many at bats. The one good thing about that is when 0 for 4 only drops you a point or 2 max.
Driven to right field, and Hayward moving back to grab it for the second out. So Pagan hit hard. But 2 putouts for the right fielder, 2 out and nobody on. And now Carlos Beltran. 0 for 8 in this series. Getting a .232 for the year. It's been fits and starts for Carlos. So have a couple of good offensive games, and he's been unable to sustain that for very long. And it takes a strike from Lowe.
He's been having, Gary, a lot of trouble with the outside pitch from the left side of the plate, not the right side. It's a little too quick, and all they're doing is pounding him away. And when he gets that pitch that's upstairs that he likes away, Gary, he's been getting under it and fouling it straight back.
Pulls this one to the hole. Beltran's got his first hit of the series. So the Mets have the first base runner of the game.
Well, he wants another sinker away, and this one right has too much plate. Carlos waited nicely on that one.
Well, yesterday the Mets 3, 4, and 5 hitters, Beltran, Wright, and Davis, were a combined 0 for 11. So a better start to this day for the heart of the Mets batting order.
It's called Mr. Tim Hudson.
Hudson went 7 innings yesterday, allowed 2 runs and 6 hits. Just gave up the 2 home runs to Reyes and Hernandez and nothing else.
Solo shots.
David Wright 0 for his last 11. Yesterday struck out his last time up against Billy Wagner, his 150th strikeout of the year, and he's got a very good chance of setting an unfortunate Mets club record. The club record is 156, shared by Dave Kingman and Tommy Agee.
Oh boy, I didn't realize that. You are a wealth of information, Gary.
Well, good and bad. Try to inform where I can. Mike Davis would be next. Wright has done well against Derek Lowe, 8 for 25 in his career, and lays off the slider. And Lowe behind 2-0. The second time Lowe and Dickey have matched up this year. Last time on the 3rd of August, neither was involved in the decision. That's the game Jeff Francoeur won with a home run off Billy Wagner. Wright lets one out to deep right field. Hayward back right to the low zone, and he looks up and it's out of here. David Wright with an opposite field 2-run homer, and the Mets jump in front 2-0. Number 24 for David Wright. He now has 94 runs batted in. First run of the game brought to you by Ram award-winning trucks.
That's not a bad pitch he hit right there. Knee-high outside corner.
And had just enough to get over that angled wall.
Two-out rally.
Mike Davis fouls it off. Well, those 2 RBIs for David Wright give him 655 for his career. That now ties him with Mike Piazza for second place on the Mets all-time RBI list. Now trailing only Darryl Strawberry.
Congratulations to Dave. We said a long time ago that if Reyes and Wright stay in Met uniforms, which looks like they will, they are going to be the leaders of a lot of offensive categories.
They already have a few. Reyes is already the all-time triples leader, stolen base leader. Davis 0 for 7 in this series. So the Mets produced their only 2 runs yesterday with home runs, and their first 2 today as well. A nice stop by Derek Lowe on the backhand. And he throws out Davis to end the inning. But David Wright's 2-run homer gets the Mets off to a fast start. Wright going the other way, just enough for his 24th of the year, and stakes R.A. Dickey to a 2-0 lead after 1. About a 3 anyway. Brian McCann takes high as we start the second inning. McCann 1 for 8 in the series, hitting at .272 for the year. And Dickey's knuckleball in the dirt. 2 balls and no strikes. It'll be McCann, then Derek Lee, and Nate McLeod for the Braves. We'll be doing their scoreboard watching this afternoon in about 10 minutes when the Phillies start their game against the Nats. 3-0. Of course, with the wild card, you got more scoreboard watching to do than ever when you're in the midst of 2 races like the Braves are.
Well, it's interesting in this National League East race, and you can see we've seen this a lot with the Mets now playing really exotic defensive spreads here. A lot of that has to do with Chip Hale. He really sits on the airplane, folks, and on the computer with the charts. And that's why you see these extreme shifts. Very unusual infield placement.
3-2 knuckleball popped up in foul ground. And Davis doesn't have enough room.
You know what's interesting, Gary? There's Chippy. He's done a terrific job at third base this year. He's a real. He's a go-getter. That's the way he played when he over in Toronto. He's not the only guy on the road that has a winning record. Is Philadelphia and Florida, if you can believe that. That's what I find unusual.
3-2 to McCann, and he walked him. So Dickey, who is among the best control artists in the league, just 2.2 walks per 9 innings. Walks the leadoff man in the second. That's upcoming schedule brought to you by Delta Airlines. Keep climbing. Mets have tomorrow off. 2 in Florida, Tuesday and Wednesday, and then another day off before going to Philly for the weekend. Then they come home for their final week of the season at home, 4 with Milwaukee and 3 with Washington to finish the year. Derek Lee leads off, or stands in with a man aboard, takes a strike. Lee, 26 games as a Brave, just 1 home run, but he's had a good series here, 3 for 7. And he grounds one slowly, no chance to get 2. Wright's going to have to go to first with it to get the slow-footed Lee for the first out as McCann moves up.
Well, wise play by David, and that is, all you kids out there, is know your base runner. And Derek Lee doesn't run well. And that was the play. If it was someone any speedier, David would have barehanded. But he knew with Lee running, he could use 2 hands in the glove.
So 1 out with a runner in scoring position. Now the resurgent Nate McLouth. You look at that 193 batting average, you say, what? But he has been a vastly different player since being brought back from the minor leagues on the last day of August. Getting well over 300 and had a very good day yesterday with an RBI double and a home run.
I've been on that train before, Garrett, early in my career, 2 years in a row where I got off to bad starts, sent down to the minors, and then you come back with a kind of a groove and you play a little bit and you come up. It's a whole different ball of wax when you start the season in April. 0, nothing on the board statistically. And you look up there in those early days of April and you got a 193, 173 batting average and you're young. You can really press.
So here's a guy who's been an all-star as recently as a couple of years ago. And it all seemed to get away from him. Tolle can't stop that one, and over to third goes McCann. So now runner at third with 1 out for the Braves.
This might be a wild pitch here. Now look at that thing dance. Oh my goodness, that was a tough one.
It went 3 directions at once.
It went left and right.
So we'll wait to see how they score that.
I mean, that's a tough pass ball. It's probably going to be the pass. Here's the home run. That was off Mr. Parnell with that high 90, 100-mile-an-hour fastball.
Infield back, 1-2 the count to McLouth, and he fouls off the knuckleball. Well, the complaint about McLouth early in the season, talking to the Braves people, they just felt he was uppercutting everything, trying to get home runs. And, you know, he's a little guy who hit, you know, a bunch of home runs with the Pirates that got him his all-star status. But they've gotten him to smooth out that swing a little bit. Terry Pendleton, the Braves' well-regarded hitting coach.
Good eye right there. And that's the hard knuckleball that Dickey throws and tries to get in on the hands of the hitters. Well, you know, Turner Field's a lot bigger than PNC Park.
Certainly for a left-hand hitter it is. McCann will hold it third. Davis takes it to the bag himself, and that's the second out.
Well. I got to believe there was a contact play there. He's the one guy in the infield. Nicely done by Ike, charging that ball to the runner on third, going and getting it quickly. Well, everybody's alert today for a day game, huh? Oh, they played 4 o'clock yesterday, right? So everybody had a good night's sleep.
One would suspect. Here's Alex Gonzalez with the runner at third and 2 out. And Gonzalez takes the knuckleball high. Gonzalez having a fine year. 22 homers, 83 runs batted in, 40 doubles. He's got 65 extra base hits, which he has spent all year in either league. Would have him in the top 10. Dribbles 1 foul, and it's 1-1. Brian Snitker, the Braves' third base coach. Bobby Cox managing his last game in New York. He was honored by the Mets before the game today, as he has been in every city where he's made his final appearance. 2-1 to Gonzalez. Gonzalez acquired at midseason in exchange for Yunel Escobar. It's turned out to be a terrific deal for the Braves. And Gonzalez has started driving in runs, 30 RBIs in his last 41 games.
It just seems to me that the Braves have a lot of hitters in their line, and good hitters, and journeyman hitters, in the likes of Infante, Prado, Alex Gonzalez. But boy, they don't have that Chipper Jones in there. That one big bat. Glaus gave it to him early, but he fell apart through injury.
Well, you look at the Phillies, and you've got Utley and Howard in the middle of that lineup.
Right.
You look at the Rockies, and they've got Gonzalez and Tulowitzki in the middle of that lineup, and they just don't have anybody to compare with that.
Right.
Which makes me wonder, and I mentioned this on Friday, why Bobby Cox has not felt inclined to put Jason Hayward in a run production position as opposed to batting him second, because he's the one guy who could be that guy.
Well, you could hit him third, and put Prado in his second spot and lead off Infante and hit Prado second and hit Hayward third. Well, they still don't have that big power bat that what Chipper gave them. And of course, when they had Andrew Jones too, that was their big 1-2 punch.
3-2 to Gonzalez, and he rips one into left field for a base hit, and that'll get the first Atlanta run home. McCann comes in to score on Gonzalez's 2-out RBI single, his 84th run batted in, and it's 2-1 New York.
Oh, the toughest RBI is the 2. Oh, it didn't do anything. That knuckleball just stayed there on a tee. But the toughest RBI is that 2-out RBI, and you got a team right now 3 games behind the Phillies, and it doesn't look like the Phillies are going to lose very much. Big series coming up. They've got to come in here, the Braves, and sweep the Mets.
So Rick Ankiel with the tying run at first, hits one on the ground to second. Tejada backs off to get it, and Ankiel retired on one pitch to end the inning, but the leadoff walk hurt Sticky. Mets lead 2-1. Brought to you by Ram, award-winning trucks. Lucas Duda will lead off for the Mets in the home second inning. Duda, after starting his career 1 for 34, is 5 for his last 8, and has driven in 4 runs over that span.
It's nice to see. It's amazing. We had that 2-double game on this homestand, and that just seemed to loosen him up. He's such a good kid, and boy, you hate to see someone go through that.
Hit his first big league home run on Friday night, and now appears to be settled into a pretty nice groove.
Make you a stronger man for it, right? Adversity.
It doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger.
It's Sunday. That's our moral of the day.
Also, his dad has been in the house this weekend. he says that might have a lot to do with it. His father's always been his baseball mentor.
It's amazing. I'm sure his dad taught him how to hit.
And Lowe walks him on 4 pitches.
Well, there's the home run he hit the other night. No doubt about that. Good for him.
So now he's aboard with a leadoff walk. And Josh Thole will come to bat. Only 2 for 7 in this series, getting a 293. Another guy who's been flirting with 300 for most of the season, and Josh makes no bones about it. He says, my goal every year is to hit 300. And he's got a shot at it.
He's got 164 at-bats in 61 ball games. I don't think he's going to get 200 ABs on the year.
And as the year goes along, it looks more and more certain that Josh Thole is going to be the Mets' #1 catcher next year. The organization felt as though it needed to see improvement in his defensive skills this year, and I think they've seen that.
I've seen it.
Josh at age 23, I think, has also started to impress with some of the leadership skills that he's taken on this team after very few days in the major leagues.
Well, he is a take charge guy behind the plate, Gary, and for a young catcher, that's nice to see. You want those qualities in your players. Too many players are told what to do and when to do it and when to jump and when to bark, and you know, the only way you're going to improve is to take the trainer wheels off.
Josh lifts one foul. Well, you know, sometimes when you get a veteran team that's got a certain culture in the clubhouse, it's hard for a young player to take those reins. And sometimes when he tries to, he gets rebuffed.
Well, I also think that it's easier for a catcher to assume that role because he's behind the plate, and you got to have a strong force behind the plate when you're working with a pitching staff.
Low ahead 1-2, and Thole fouls off the fastball. Ruben Tejada waiting on deck. With 4 rookies in the lineup today, and most days coming down the stretch they've been playing 4, sometimes 5, even 6 rookies. Slowly hit to short. Gonzalez and Fonte, and they turn 2. 6-4-3, 2 out and nobody on.
See, I think that's a pitch. Now it's a tailor-made double play right here. Totally not the swiftest of foot. I just think that Thole, the way he hits, that should be his strength, that pitch on the outer half of the plate, particularly down. He's not going to hit a lot of home runs. He's going to be a doubles hitter, gap to gap. Like I said, he reminds me a lot of Milt May.
Milt May was never really a starting catcher with the Pirates.
He backed up. How are we going to break in with Manny Sanguillen catching, hitting 300 every year? You know, he was a great backup to Manny Sanguillen. And I think Milt went over to Houston too, didn't he?
I'm trying to think where he did go somewhere else and start. 2-0 to Ruben Tejada. Ruben hitless in his last 8 at bats. He's dipped below the Mendoza line. He's at 198.
Gorgeous day it is today. I just drove in here through the tennis center. Came in off the Grand Central.
Right.
I didn't realize all those big trees were. You should have seen all the uprooted trees.
It's amazing.
Oh my word!
That tornado or whatever it was cut a swath from Staten Island through Brooklyn up through Queens. There was a great chart in the Times yesterday of the downed trees, and just shows the straight line that thing took right through the city. Amazing. And there were dozens and dozens and dozens of trees taken out. Some that have been there for hundreds of years. We watched it unfold from right here from this booth.
We were in the safest place we could possibly be, a concrete structure like this.
And it was still scary. Three and two to Tejada. And Ruben pulls one foul down past Chip Hale. Mets are 5-4 on this homestand. With this the last game. Lost 2 out of 3 to the Phillies. Swept 4 from the Pirates. And now have lost the first 2 of this series to the Braves. Again, the 3-2. And Tejada pulls one down to third. Prado with a sprawling grab. And a close play. He got him at first to retire the side. So the Mets are done in the bottom of the second. They lead 2-1. And Fios, call 1-888-GET-FIOS. Beautiful day here in New York, and Ralph Connor joins us. Welcome.
All right, good to be back.
It's good to have you here. We need a little perk up on a Sunday afternoon.
I've been listening to the ball games, and of course he had some pretty good run against my old team, Pittsburgh. It really is amazing how bad that team is. 18 times they have not played 500 baseball.
Well, we were talking, Ralph, and I don't want to disparage the Pirates and the players. They're out there trying, but that was probably the worst Pirate team I've ever seen in my playing days and in the booth.
We had some bad ones when I played there. There's no doubt about that.
Eric Lowe shoots the gap in left center, gets it by Duda and to the wall, and Lowe has himself his third double of the year. And the Braves, just like that, have the tying run in scoring position.
They always said that you should put pitchers up the bat against knuckleball pitchers. I guess this proves that point.
Well, he got a knuckleball that didn't knuckle. He's had 2 balls that stayed straight, been hurt by both of them. Alex Gonzalez's RBI single last inning. So do you bunt him over here with your leadoff man?
Not when he's hitting 335.
And one thing about that, he might qualify for the batting title.
You see, the Mets don't really feel their bunting. Why do I say that? Look at Ike Davis playing back. If you were in a bunt situation, if you thought it was a bunt situation, you'd have Ike in.
And tell me about bunting a knuckleball.
That's a good point, Garrett. You know, you're very perceptive. are a constant source of.
What do you want to know about it?
I want to know whether it's easier to hit it or to bunt it.
It's not easy to do anything at all with a knuckleball.
I would think that you would square around and see the knuckleball. It would be every bit as difficult.
You know, the one thing about when you bunt, you do take a catching position on the bat.
And Infante with the base hit that moves low over to third, so no need for a bunt from Infante. And the Braves have first and third and nobody out.
And the Braves always seem to have a good approach to RA.
Third time they've faced him this year. So now Hayward with an RBI chance. First and third, nobody out. Popped up his first time up.
You know, you guys were talking about this guy as a third place hitter. I don't think he's that good yet.
Okay.
He might be good.
You think Prado's a third hitter?
Well, no, I don't. They don't have a third place hitter. They had one. They had Chipper Jones.
Exactly. They haven't been able to fill that.
Hayward has only got 18 home runs, and he is driven in 71 months, which is a pretty good year, but it's not a great year.
No, it's a good rookie season.
Yeah, it's a good rookie year. That's what he is. He's new. I think people have a tendency to project people too soon. He hasn't been around a long time.
He's 20 years old. And you see the home run he hit Friday night here, Ralph?
Yeah, he has. Well, I like it. I like everything about him, but he's got a long way to go.
Back to the mound. Dickey checks the runner, gets the out at second, and on to first for the double play. Well, he had a pitcher running at third, but runner at third's responsibility there is to get the rundown and prevent the double play, and Lowe didn't do it.
Well, that's why you want to keep the pitchers off the base. And he could have crept down the line a little more, but you can't expect that from a pitcher. And really, RA, I was surprised that he even looked him back. I mean, just concede the run, get the double play. It's early in the game.
Well, I think he realized it was a pitcher, and he did the right thing and still had time to double up Hayward. So that's a big play for Dickey to hang on to the lead. And now Prado with two out takes outside ball one.
Well, this is one thing that R.A. Dickey has done all year, and that is when he's in trouble, he toughens up.
For a guy 35 years of age, he's amazing. And the only way I really think he could do it is with a knuckleball. Knuckleball pitchers get better with age.
And a ground ball for Tejada to handle, so Dickey gets himself out of a first and third nobody out jam with his pitching and his fielding. Still 2-1 New York. The Mets fantasy camp this January in Port St. Lucie. Get to the phone at 718-565-4376 or visit Mets.com/fantasycamp today. Your pitcher's high speed brought to you by Verizon Fios. Call 1-888-GET-FIOS. Now, that's not a fair fight. Got a knuckleball pitcher on the mound. So Derek Lowe has out-velocity'd R.A. Dickey, but Dickey has the upper hand. 2-1 as we go to the bottom of the third, and Dickey will lead off.
You know, one thing about Dickey is the fact he throws a different type of knuckleball that I've ever seen. And I've hit against a lot of real great knuckleball pitchers. He throws the thing hard. And I've never seen a hard knuckleball. And he picked that up at the age of maybe 33 or so. Was an average pitcher, not even average. He got the knuckleball and he gets it over.
Well, as he says I'm 35, but my knuckleball's 27.
Well, he can pitch forever.
I mean, you look at some of the guys like Phil Niekro and Hoyt Wilhelm, guys who pitch so deep into their 40s, effectively.
Guys like Roger Wolf, Dutch Leonard, they're all great knuckleball pitchers. And they all threw the ball slowly and lasted forever.
Well, that raises an interesting question. Because Dickey obviously throws a couple of different knuckleballs. Would the hard knuckleball put more strain on his arm and not allow him to pitch as at such an advanced age?
No one knows. He's the first one I've seen that ever did that.
Gonzalez charging and throws out the hustling Dickey for the first out. He continues to make contact. He's had a good year with the bat. Struck out very little. Runs hard to first base. Does everything he can do to help himself.
He's a good guy to have on the team. Other ways than just his 11 wins.
Here's Reyes, who flied to right his first time up. Homered yesterday off Tim Hudson. Now facing other sinker baller in Derek Lowe. Lowe's already given up a home run today. David Wright's 2-run shot. Reyes has hit as many as 19 home runs in a season. Thinks about the slug bunt and takes a strike.
I wonder when Reyes is going to reach his potential.
What do you think his potential is, Ralph?
Well, we know what it is in base stealing. He's been around 80 base steals a year. He doesn't come close to that anymore because he doesn't try as much. Now you wonder about whether he's worried about his legs or not. He's had a lot of problems with the legs. His potential is, I'd say, pretty much unlimited as far as his extra base hits are concerned. Home runs, I would say 20 would be good, maybe 25, no more than that, because it would take away from his ability to get on base. But I certainly don't think he's reached that potential. There are other shortstops that you would pick over him. One in Miami, of course, and Florida is very good, especially in batting average.
Well, it's the 7th full year for Jose, and he's 27 years old. We usually say a player hits his prime at 28.
This would be it, yeah. He should be right at that peak.
1-2 from Lowe, and he yanks one foul.
Somewhere you reach the position of really becoming a knowledgeable hitter, and you have to have some knowledge to be a good hitter. You have to know what you think is coming. You have to guess at times. You have to be able to take pitches, and you have to learn the strike zone. I mean, if you don't learn the strike zone, you never will make it. Now, don't tell me Yogi Berra did. He's one of the few.
Reyes retired for the second out.
Manny Sanguillen, bad ball hitter.
Been a few. Lucky Mavic, one of the real good bad ball hitters.
Clemente.
Clemente is, yes and no, he's a wild swinger, but he never really drove in a lot of runs. He was up there around 90, but and we're talking, the record is 184. And that was in the National League. The record now you're talking about a lot of runs about an inning.
What was the most you drove in a year, Ralph?
I would say around I think around 137. I had nobody on base.
You had to drive yourself in.
Right, I had to.
Don lined out to right his first time up. 2 out and nobody on. Mets with a 2-1 lead thanks to David Wright's 2-run homer in the first. And another comebacker from low to handle, and that retires the side. 3 up, 3 down. 3 in the books at Citi Field, 2-1 New York.
New York and the Mets lead the Braves, trying to take the finale of this 3-game series. David Wright with the offense with a 2-run home run. And the guys were talking about R.A. Dickey and just a revelation he's been this year. And you think about Dickey going forward and where he fits with this Mets team, and will the Mets offer him a contract? You'd have to think so. But they don't have to. He's an arbitration player. But Dickey will be 36 in October. And, you guys are talking about what he's meant to this team and what he's done and why he could go on for a long time. But think about this. The other reason is he's in absolutely fantastic shape. As a matter of fact, he told me he's training for a triathlon. He's going to do that in the offseason. It's going to be an Olympic-style triathlon, which is kind of like the traditional style. Basically, what that is 25 miles on the bike. It's a 6-mile run and a 1-mile swim. So here R.A. is, 36, doing a triathlon. That's his off-season activity. Guys, let's go back to you.
0-2 knuckleball to Brian McCann. He has a base hit to center field, and so for the 3rd straight inning, the Braves have the leadoff man on.
The thing about Dickey is amazing. He does all this with no ligament, ligament in his right elbow.
I mean, to put that in perspective, when it was discovered that R.A. didn't have that ulnar collateral ligament, by all rights, he shouldn't be able to turn a doorknob, much less be able to throw a pitch in a major league game. It's something of an aberration, bordering on a miracle, that he can throw a pitch without that ligament in his elbow.
Well, he can't hurt it because it doesn't have one.
That's the upside, I guess.
Amazing. It cost him a lot of money. He was offered $850,000 a sign.
Reyes and Tejada turn the double play on Derek Lee. And quickly there are 2 outs. Second inning in a row the Mets have turned 2.
He didn't sign because they found out he didn't have that ligament. He got $75,000. So he lost out a lot of money at the beginning.
And you know how that happened? He was in a picture on the cover of Baseball America, and the trainer for the Texas Rangers who drafted him saw the picture and saw his arm was hanging in an unusual fashion, and told the Rangers to check it out. Sure enough, that's what they found.
It's a hitman after that trainer.
It's Nate McLeod, and he yanks one foul.
Cost me money.
You know, I know a lot of trainers that didn't even know what a ligament was.
Liniment maybe, but not ligament.
You know, they had a guy, Andy the Lockshaw for the Cubs, who used to break guys down with tobacco juice.
And McLeod hit by the very slow knuckleball. That's the dial back speed from Dickey, and McLeod goes to first base with as painless a hit by pitch as you can have on a bounce.
Off his back leg.
That's the third batter Dickey's hit this season, so a 2-out base runner. Alex Gonzalez drove in the Atlanta run with a single to left in the second. 84 runs batted in now for Gonzalez.
That's pretty good for a shortstop. The game has really changed. Shortstops used to be defensive. Now they're offensive.
But one thing hasn't changed, Ralph, in the game is that, and you tell me if I'm right or wrong, so I still believe in that adage, you got to be strong up the middle to win. And then you got to have a good center fielder, good your middle infielders, and your catcher. You got to be solid there.
I agree with that. No question about it.
So while having offense from those positions is an asset,
real thing,
defense has to come first.
Right. So if you got the package, if you can play both sides of the field, then you're going to make a lot of money and have a lot of fun playing this game.
Another thing that has really changed.
Don puts it away to end the inning. New York Mets baseball is brought to you by HBO's new series Boardwalk Empire, premiering tonight at 9 p.m. Now here's a sneak peek. To you by Jeep. I live, I ride, I am Jeep. gorgeous Sunday afternoon. You can see how bright the sunshine is by the shadows down there in the bullpens. Good crowd gathered for the final game of this homestand. Only one more homestand remaining week after next. Carlos Beltran leads off in the home fourth. Carlos singled to right and scored ahead of David Wright's home run in the first inning. Mets leading 2-1. And Beltran bounces one foul, 1-1.
Getting back to another thing that has really changed. The first basemen are the power hitters in the game of baseball. And center field is no longer a great hitting position.
Down to first for Derek Lee, 1 out. 6 straight ground ball outs now for Derek Lowe. And David Wright will come to bat. David hit an opposite field 2-run homer his first time up, his 24th of the year.
He got a fastball out over the plate and hit it to right field. That's the one pitch where he stands in the batter's box that he can hit to right field and hit it hard. The curveball he can't reach.
People have talked a lot about David Wright and Citi Field and how they've meshed. As you look at his RBI numbers, now tied with Mike Piazza for second on the all-time Mets list. As he hooks one to shortstop, and another ground ball for Lowe. That's 7 in a row, 2 out in the inning. To me, the thing that has hurt David more than anything else is that fence in right field. It's just such an uninviting target with that indentation in the right field wall at that mow zone.
There's no question. It's 378 to the left there. You see the 378. Then it goes back, I would say, around 10 feet. So that's around a 390 pop right there. And it's high, too, as well. So that's a poke going the opposite field.
And that's where a lot of David's natural power is.
Right.
It has to be where he stands in the batter's box. When you stand close to the plate, you then change your power alley to the pull field. In other words, a right-hand batter, left field. Left-hand batter would be right field.
What do you think of Ike's resurgence here in this late season here? It's the last 6 weeks of Ralph, his offense.
Well, I'm disappointed in him. I think he should be doing better than he is. I mean, his batting average is around 260. And they did most of that in the early part of the year. And he still chases the bad curveballs in the dirt. And it's a learning process. And until he learns to lay off the curveball and the ground ball on the dirt, he's going to have a real problem trying to hit for a good average. He can hit a low ball well because he has his hands dropping down the strike zone, not getting back up. I actually like Duda's swing better than his.
I like Duda's swing. I do.
Ike takes one toward the middle. Oh. A nice stop by Gonzalez as he snow cones it and throws out Davis to end the inning. There's a beautiful play by Alex Gonzalez, taking a base hit away from Ike Davis. 8 straight ground ball outs for Lowe. behind Seinfeld brings his HBO hit comedy to your TV. Weeknights at 11:30 on Pix 11. Fifth inning, 2-1 New York. R.A. Dickey's allowed a run on 4 hits as Rick Ankiel leads off and pulls the first one right over the bag and down the line. That'll make it to the corner. Ankiel heads for second. Pagan having trouble digging it out, so Ankiel takes the turn, heads for third. Tejada's relay is high, but Wright gets the tag down on Ankiel, who came up short of the bag.
I thought Ankiel here just ran out of gas, Gary, when he rounded second base. Watch him. It just looks like he runs out of gas. Cuts the turn right there. Now he makes his choice. He lost his stride. And he just pancaked there, and that's it.
He didn't make it.
That's a belly flop.
Never got to the base with a slide.
Better sliding would have been safe with the high throw from Tejada.
But the old adage, you never make the first or the last out at third base.
Oh, look at the coach. It's Brian Sector. He's down there, too. Like 2 sea lions.
Well, he ran the bases like a pitcher, and that's what it was at one time. And he hits like a pitcher. He's hitting 200.
Oh, gosh. It's just a brutal slide.
Derek Lowe, who doubled his first time up, rolls one out to right, who has plenty of time to make the bare hand play for the second out. By the way, the play on Ankiel goes 9-4-5, and for Angel Pagan, that's his 10th outfield assist of the year.
What a great throw by the second baseman, Tejada. He got something on that throw with a great arm. Although the throw was high, and a good play by Wright to make the catch and put the tag on.
Well, if he slot, here we go. Here's the relay. If Angel misses the cutoff, man, he's safe. That's good execution all the way around. And if Ankiel slides feet first, he's safe. He got all that weight forward, and he just, like an airplane, grounding.
And then he was trying to do the Australian crawl, but couldn't get there. Omar Infante with 2 out and nobody on takes the fastball for a strike. So Dickey beginning with that sneak attack first pitch fastball. Third time around the batting order. Infante singled his last time up. Well, Ankiel's found the playing time tough to come by lately, just trying to do a little too much, and came up short.
Made the conversion from being a very talented pitcher in his amateur days, to where he couldn't get the ball over the plate, to playing the outfield. Right there, he might not be playing the outfield for long.
I really felt that Tony La Russa did him a disservice starting him in those important playoff games in that rookie year. And that he never recovered from that, Gary.
Well, he had the meltdown as Infante walks. He had the meltdown against the Braves in the first round that year, where he threw, what was it, 5 wild pitches. And I thought at that point that they should have pulled him. But then he started against the Mets in the League Championship Series, and things went just as poorly.
Right.
I think you're right. I think he never really recovered from that.
And there's very few mistakes that Tony La Russa has made over his illustrious career as a manager, and I just felt that was one of them.
The thing is, though, he was so good that year.
Yes.
I mean, he was tremendous that rookie season in 2000, and who would have guessed?
I remember saying, boy, he's putting him in a tough spot. A young kid, I don't care what kind of year he had. In a first time in a playoff, and put him in a game of that importance, I just thought, well, you want to start a veteran.
Hayward finds the hole up the middle. Infante is going to go first to third, and so the Braves trying to get something going with 2 out, as Hayward has his first hit of the afternoon and the 6th off Dickey. And you know the funny thing, looking back on those starts that Ankiel made that postseason and even into the next year, he was able to throw his curveball for strikes, but he couldn't throw his fastball anywhere near the plate, and that's where he ran into trouble, and that was really the sign that there was something seriously wrong. Dan Worthen out to talk to Dickey. Remember that Dickey threw 127 pitches in his last start against the Pirates. That was a season high. Now, you wouldn't think that would have much impact on a knuckleballer, but coming back 5 days later.
You know, talking about pitchers that having a bad outing in a crucial moment and they're never the same again. Donnie Moore with the Angels had blew the playoff in 86, I believe, wasn't it?
Right? 86, yes.
And he was never the same after that. Mark Walters with Atlanta and in the Yankee Stadium, the home run by
Jim Leyritz.
He never was the same again.
And Donnie Moore is a very sad case.
Donnie was a good friend. I've known Don for years, and yes, Ralph, that was a very tragic story.
Infante at third, Hayward at first with 2 out. Mets clinging to a 1-run lead, and Dickey missing inside and falls behind on Prado 2-0. So that knuckleball's starting to move around a little bit now on Dickey. With McCann on deck.
There's a real big out right there for Dickey.
And Prado hits one right back to Dickey, who gets the glove down for it to retire the side. If that ball goes under his glove, it's in center field, and the Braves would have tied the game. Prado thought for sure he had a hit. Hank Keel did have a hit, but wound up making it out anyway. Just a few more feet. Jeep, I live, I ride, I am Jeep. Lucas Duda leads off the home 5th inning against Derek Lowe. The Mets have had just 2 hits today, but lead 2-1 on David Wright's first inning home run. Duda walked in the 2nd inning. Since then, Lowe has retired 8 in a row, every one of them on ground balls. Noted sinker ball pitcher has it working today. Duda takes a strike.
Duda was named the most top player in the Mets organization this year. Got off to a horrible start. He had 1 hit 34 times. But he has a good swing, and he is big and strong.
What do you like about his swing, Ralph?
It's very stable. And he doesn't drop his hands. He keeps his hands in the right place all the time, and they go up at the last second. Hands have got to go up to get in the area above the strike zone. And then you go from there. They then come down if it's low, or they stay level if it's in the middle, and they go up for home runs.
What about hitting home runs off a sinker ball pitcher like Lowe?
You have to make ball be up then. You're not going to hit. Of course, Lowe is a good sinker ball pitcher, and it's very tough to get the ball in the air.
Duda does right down the line. line, hooking, foul.
Really get a good example of the kind of power he has. Right here, the hands stay up in position. Look at that. That's a really good hitting position all the way down. He was a little bit out in front. He's got to learn to get the bat out here with his hands a little farther to keep from pulling the ball foul.
Just a little quick on that ball. If he'd have waited a split second longer, that ball would have been upper tank somewhere.
That's right.
2-2. And he lays off. And a full count to Duda.
He took that pitch well. These are the pluses there. Don't chase the bad balls out of the strike zone, or even when they're in the strike zone, until you get 2 outs. Good swing again there. He's behind that a bit.
Josh Tolley on deck, and then Ruben Tejada here in the 5th. Again, the 3-2, and he goes down swinging. First strikeout for Lowe, who set a career high with 12 strikeouts in his last start.
Another pitch out of the strike zone for a strikeout. The majority of pitches for strikeouts are out of the strike zone.
Still one away. Here's Josh Tolley, who bounced into a double play his first time up. And Tolley pokes this one into left center for a base hit. Keel barehanding. And Tolley has the Mets' 3rd hit of the afternoon.
There's a good example of what Keith was talking about. The ball is outside, and he goes with the pitch and lines it to left center field.
So after Lowe had retired 9 in a row, Tolley with a 1-out single, and now Ruben Tejada was robbed of a hit on a diving play by Martin Prado his first time up. Meanwhile, in Philadelphia, Willie Harris has homered off Joe Blanton at the top of the 3rd, and the Nats lead the Phillies 1-0. Phillies 3 games up on the Braves starting play today. And those 2 teams get together in Philadelphia tomorrow. Phillies and Braves have 6 games remaining. These next 3 days in Philly, and then the last 3 days of the season in Atlanta. So the Braves still have a chance, not only to secure the wild card, but a chance to win the division going head-to-head against the Phils.
I hope the Phillies can really put a crimp in their season as far as divisional hopes.
Well, the Braves need to get a better job out of the back end of the rotation. Jair Jurgens, who's been struggling, the rookie Mike Minor. Those will be the first 2 in that series. And they'll be going up against Hamels and Halladay.
They got a pretty good 1-2-3 punch, don't they, the Phillies now, with Halladay, Hamels pitching great, and Oswald?
They're going to be really tough in the playoffs, no doubt about that. They have a well-rounded club. They have speed, they have defense, and they have power.
And they're finally healthy, which they had not been for most of the year. The Braves have developed one injury problem in this series, and that's Takashi Saito, their veteran reliever, has got a shoulder problem. He's going to have an MRI tomorrow. He's not with the team. But their bullpen is so deep, I'm not sure that's going to have a huge impact on Atlanta. We haven't even seen the rookie Craig Kimbrell, who has been spectacular when Bobby Cox has used him so far this year.
What is he, a 100-mile-an-hour pitcher?
So that 97 to 99 range. So the Braves bullpen has just dominated the Mets this year. How about Billy Wagner yesterday afternoon?
Boy, he looked good, didn't he?
Striking out the side of the ninth.
He could still go on another couple of years, Billy, the way he's throwing. It's really surprising, but he's made his decision to retire, stay with his family.
He can always change his mind.
Brett Favre can talk to them.
1-1, runner goes, and Tejada fouls it off, so the Mets playing hit and run.
You know, Tejada hadn't hit well at all for the Mets. But he's swinging the bat so much better now than he did when he first came up. He's getting some good hard swings in, and he's showing signs of getting better. He certainly is a good defensive player, no doubt about that. Took a good play to get him out in his first at bat in the second inning.
A little conversation there, aren't they? Bruce Druckmann and Ruben.
I've been talking about the condition of the guy that Tejada replaced, Luis Hernandez.
Or he could be politicking.
Could be doing that.
He broke his foot with that foul ball, huh?
He did. Right near his big toe. And somehow was able to hobble around the bases after hitting the home run.
If he had flied out, he wouldn't have got to first base.
Well, if he hit one up the gap, he might not have been able to get past.
You might be right. Hit that ball well.
He had to.
You can't break him in and breaking his foot to get a home run, though.
Foul tip held by McCann for the second out.
Here's that home run. Look at that. He gets hit in the foot, and of course that's no fun. Now the home run.
Amazing. And then a 36-second jaunt around the bases.
That's the longest I've seen in a long time.
Gibson-esque. Dickey fouls one off. Dickey grounded out his first time.
Gibson and the famous home run for the Dodgers.
Kurt Gibson was injured and could not hit a fastball with any kind of pop on it, and Eckersley certainly had that kind of fastball back then, and he threw him an off-speed backdoor slider, and he just let it reach out with one hand.
And hit a home run.
That was just unbelievable.
Toronto handles Dickey's ground ball, and that'll do it for the Mets at the bottom of the fifth.
Won the first game of that series.
5 in the books. The Dickey and the Mets up 2-1. HBO hit is now on Pix 11. Check out Life in the Fast Lane with the boys from Entourage. Weeknights at 12:30 on Pix 11. We go to the 6th inning with the Mets up 2-1. Well, we referenced Kurt Gibson and his home run in 1988, so there it is.
Boom, the off-speed pitch. And that was incredible.
Now, I went back and looked. Gibson hit the home run on you guys in the 12th inning of Game 4 of the LCS after Socha hit the game-tying home run off Doc. And then he started Game 5 and 6, but he didn't start Game 7.
He was hurt pretty badly. You know, a guy like Gibson can miss any game period in a regular season, let alone a playoff game. Game 7 of that magnitude.
He was a great football player.
Yes, he was. Michigan State.
Brian McCann has walked and singled and scored a run. And the thing is that after he hit that home run against Eckersley, he never played again in the World Series. Didn't have to.
They swept Oakland in that series.
Tejada playing on the grass, throws out McCann for the first time. I think it was 5 games.
5 games, okay. I remember the Dodgers had a very good pitching staff, and they just pounded those Bash brothers, Canseco and McGuire, inside that entire World Series and just got them out. Broke bats, just got in there where the pots and pans are.
Well, they got their World Series victory the next year in the Earthquake Series against the Giants in '89.
And that was a sweep, was it not?
Yes, that was a sweep. But then they got swept the next year by Cincinnati. It was quite a run, though, that those Oakland teams had.
Who was the manager of the Reds that year when they won the World Series?
No,
that's what I thought. Yes.
Lee's hit the ball on the ground twice, once into a double play, 0 for 2. And he rockets this one to the left center for a hit. Duda's going to have to go deep to cut it off. Lee heading for second. Duda's throw will come up short. And safe at second is Lee with a double.
I bet you this one didn't dance. And it sure didn't.
No knuckleball hit hard to left center. Lee was really not come close to being the lead before he got to Atlanta.
Dave McLeod yanks one foul. On 7 hits now off Dickey, but he's been able to pitch himself out of situations today. Braves had first and third and nobody out in the third. He got out of it. He got fortunate when Ankiel did his belly flop and was thrown out trying to stretch his double in the 5th. As the Braves had a single and a walk later in that inning. And now trying to work with another runner in scoring position on a tightrope with a 2-1 lead. McLeod was hit by a pitch on a 58-mile-an-hour knuckleball on a bounce his last time up. The way you can get a less painful hit by pitches if it just hits your uniform shirt.
Or wear a wetsuit, which Ron Hunter was one of the Mets' early players. Wore a wetsuit and was hit 50 times one year.
He wore a wetsuit?
Yes, sir, under his uniform.
You're kidding.
That's right.
A wetsuit like a scuba diver.
Yes.
How in the heck did he move around?
He did while he was trying to get hit.
That's fine.
He was smart. He didn't hurt.
That's the first time I've ever heard
yes,
that.
He did.
I heard he wore pads everywhere on his ribs.
Yeah.
Wow.
Of course, the all-time man for being hit by pitches, Don Baylor.
To the right side, Tejada is there. And throws out McLeod for the second out as Lee moves over to third. Did Craig Biggio beat Baylor's record?
I don't know.
Career hit batsman? He might have.
He might have, okay.
But Hunt's 50 in a season. Nobody's going to come close to that.
Who wants to?
Well, you know, Eddie Stanky was always up to the plate to get the pitch. But his uniform got hit. He didn't get hit very often at all. And that was his OP.
Of course, in Keith's era, the uniforms were so tight, you couldn't get hit on the baggy part.
That was the muscles they had in their bodies.
Those polyesters. Remember those? Gosh almighty.
I remember what was really tough, the wool uniforms. They were really hot.
I don't know how you made it through a summer with those.
It was tough.
Alex Gonzalez with the tying run at 3rd and 2 out. Al tips one, or it's 1-2.
I remember when Lee Mazzelli's rookie year and he came up with the Mets route. I'm sure you both remember. He wore his uniform so tight, and Lee, being the speed skater that he was, he had such big thighs. He was lower body. He was so strong.
1-2. And the fastball misses inside. 2-2 to Gonzalez.
Biggio did take over the leadership and hit by bat pitches. 285 to 267 for Baylor. Kendall got hit 254 times.
He's still active. He could catch it. Davis over near the stands. Getting hit 285 times, that alone should get Biggio in the Hall of Fame.
I think he's going to make it. 3,000 hits plus and everything else. Catcher, infielder, outfielder. Did everything.
How about Jeff Kent?
Jeff Kent's got to get in the Hall of Fame. I don't know who's going to vote for him, but he's got the numbers. The writers did not like him one bit.
So there are a bunch of second basemen lined up because you got the two of them, plus you got Robbie Alomar, who I'm sure is going to be in the Hall.
He was very good until he got with the Mets.
Yep. Pulled toward the hole, past Reyes, and that'll bring in the tying run. So Alex Gonzalez, with his second RBI hit of the day, gets Lee home to tie the game at 2.
Gonzalez is really having himself a good year.
Nice effort by Jose. Another 2-out RBI in the clutch. There's his reaction.
It's 85 runs batted in for Alex Gonzalez.
And the reaction of Derek Lee right there. Don't think these guys haven't got pennant fever.
So now Rick Ankiel takes a strike. Ankiel doubled into the right field corner his last time up. It was thrown out trying to stretch it into a triple. 1 for 2 on the day. Now in the 4th inning in Philly with the Nats still ahead on Willie Harris's home run.
Who's throwing for the Nats? Garrett?
I'll tell you that in just a second. I know it's Blanton going for the Phillies. Oh, that's Yuneski Maya, who's been so awful in his first couple of starts. Runner goes, and Ankiel fouls it back.
A little hit and run there. Look at Bobby to return in the favor here.
It's a little unusual with 2 out. Pitcher on deck.
Let's see if the runner peeked back and see if it was a straight steal. Gotta believe it was a straight steal. You don't hit and run with 2 outs.
Gonzalez is not a base stealer. He has 1 all year.
Let's take a peek and see if he looks back. And he's looking back. That's
looking for a double in the gap there.
Someone could have missed a sign too.
Well, Tapper and Dickey off the mound. That'll retire the side. But the Braves get even on Alex Gonzalez's second 2-out RBI single of the game. 2-2 middle of the 6th. Curb. Curb your enthusiasm. Weeknights at 11:30 on Pix 11. Line Score is brought to you by freescore.com. Life costs more without free score. Mets took a 2-0 lead on David Wright's first inning home run, but Derek Lowe's been great since then, and the Braves pecking away against R.A. Dickey. 2 2-out RBI singles by Alex Gonzalez to get them even. Third time around the batting order, Jose Reyes leads off against Derek Lowe and takes a strike.
I got to talk to Keith about the one incident that happened when I wasn't on. When Palfrey was pitching for the Mets and refused to look at his manager, and he came out to take him out of the ball game. Keith came up with the story about Jim Barr. Yes, it's true. And Frank Robinson hauled Jim Barr back by the collar and said, "You stay on this mound or else." And that's what happened to Jim Barr. We had one with the Pirates when Bob Chestnut, the pitcher for the Pirates, was being taken out of the game by our manager, Billy Meyer, and he threw the ball in the stands. And Billy Meyer was his face turned red, his neck turned red, everything turned red, and he wanted to kill him because he wouldn't give the ball to the pitcher and threw it into the stands.
Well, you're not going to enamel yourself with your manager doing that.
Oh, wait.
3-1 to Reyes, is 0 for 2 on the day. Lowe has walked only 1. And a fastball strike, 3-2.
Now, one thing about a pitcher doing that to his manager, it shouldn't be tolerated. The's no way in the world that a pitcher has that kind of a position that he takes when he's going out of the ball game.
Reyes rips it, and a nice play by Derek Lee. Race to the bag, and Lowe beats Reyes for the out. Derek Lee, a former Gold Glover, looked like one there.
Well, that's not an easy play. Big up hop, excuse me. Lowe right away, breaks over. A little bit of hesitation, but beats Reyes to the bag. Nice play by the first baseman.
So 1 out, and Angel Pagan comes up. Let's check in with Kevin.
You know, guys, this is the last game Bobby Cox will be managing in New York, and I caught up with him and I asked him, you know, all these Brave games along the years, all the rivalries, what moment stands out to you the most, Bobby? And he said, without question, it was the game after 9/11. You know, we were here, we saw the devastation. The town was completely empty, and it was so eerie. And he said, you know, now look, it bothered me that we lost the game. There's no question about it. But after the game was over, I was actually glad that it went the way it did. You know, it deserved to go New York's way. It was just such an emotional night, and one that I'll never forget. That was his top moment. Not bad, and what a career. Back to you guys.
Before the game today, Henry Blanco, who used to catch for Bobby Cox in Atlanta, presented Bobby on behalf of the Mets with a magnum of Tom Seaver's GTS wine. And the Mets will be sending a case Bobby's way.
Hard to believe he was a shortstop as a ball player. First time with the Dodgers.
Well, Bobby Cox has won more games against the Mets than he has against any other team. Of his 2,498 wins, 198 have come against the Mets.
Chipper Jones had a lot to do with that.
And a few pitchers, mainly Glavine, Maddox,
and Smoltz.
Yes.
Yeah, they were good.
They were pretty good.
1-1 to Pagan. You notice that Bobby with 198 wins against the Mets. That means that unless he comes out of retirement, he's not going to get to 200 wins against the Mets. No manager has had 200 wins against another team since Walter Alston reached that mark against the Giants back in 1976.
Dodgers, when I was a kid growing up, Walter Alston was the manager and moved to Los Angeles. And they always beat the Giants. That ball didn't carry in Dodger Stadium. It was Chavez Ravine back then. And the Giants were a power-hitting club.
Had a pretty good pitcher over there, Juan Marichal.
Marichal, you had Gaylord. Bob Bolin had a couple good years. And
it's a no-run game.
And the Dodgers the Wills would get on, steal second. Junior Gilliam would butt him to third, and then Willie Davis would come up, or Tommy Davis would get a base hit or a fly ball. It'd be 1-0. 1-0.
1-0.
And Walter Alston lasted over 20 years as manager of the Dodgers, always working with
one year contract. That's right.
Did he take over from Charlie Dressen?
Charlie Dressen.
Yes.
One of the great stories was that they sent Don Drysdale, a Hathaway, went home because he was going to pitch the next day, and it was a day game, and they were playing the night game on the road. And he went to Vegas instead of going to bed at night in L.A., but he showed up to the ballpark the next day, and someone said to him, you know, Koufax pitched a no-hitter. And he took a look and said, did he win? That's what they did. 1-0 ball games of Drysdale and Koufax. Maury Wills would steal a base.
Still ground ball for Lee to handle. And John retired. There go Flaherty up in the Braves bullpen. But of course, Koufax, when he threw his perfect game against the Cubs, he was involved in the greatest pitch game in history because Bob Henley for the Cubs allowed only one hit.
And the one run the Cubs scored was on the error, I think, wasn't it?
Yep. I think Lou Johnson had the only hit for the Dodgers.
Yeah, the only hit, yeah.
That was Koufax's fourth no-hitter, which was the record. And, of course, that stood until Nolan Ryan came along.
He had one against the Mets, that's for sure.
It was in 62, wasn't it, the first year?
I think you're right, yes.
Bob Feller had the record before that with 3 no-hitters.
He pitched 11 one-hitters and 3 no-hitters. And, of course, Tom Seaver pitched 1 no-hitter and had 5 one-hitters.
Roger McDowell with a long conversation with Derek Lowe.
I'm wondering if Lowe's hurting a little bit. He was kind of walking behind the mound there, and that kind of prompted Roger to come out.
Well, remember, he had the elbow problem that prompted him to get a cortisone shot about 3 weeks ago and miss a start. And since coming back, he's been terrific. And again today. He's thrown 83 pitches to this, making 84 pitches to this point. Beltran bats with 2 out and nobody on. He singled and scored back in the first inning. Mets have had just 1 hit since the first. Memory serves with Koufax. I think he had his 4 no-hitters in consecutive seasons. 62, 3, 4, and 5. So at least he got in front of the Nats 2-1.
He knew that was going to happen.
We saw Yuneski Maya in Washington. He certainly did not impress.
No, but it was his first start, and we'll cut him some slack because he was probably nervous. But his next start out wasn't so grand either.
Beltran rips one into right field for a base hit. So Carlos has his second hit of the game, and the Mets have a 2-out base runner for David Wright.
This is how it happened in the first inning when the Mets scored their only 2 runs of the game.
Video recap brought to you by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com today. David's home run was his 24th of the year. He now has 94 runs driven in. Home run was the 18th that Lowe has allowed this season in 183 innings. Beltran has not done much base stealing this year since coming back from the knee injury. He has just 3. He's been playing for over 2 months now. Game in Philadelphia, Brian Schneider's 2-run double gave the Phillies that lead 2-1.
Good eye by David right there. That's a breaking ball that just misses on the outside corner.
Well, he hit a fastball for the home run, and that curveball away from the plate There's a pitch right there. He gets him out.
He rolls it over, doesn't he, Ralph?
Nice stretch by Lee on the throw by Prado. And that ends the inning. 6 in the books now in a 2-2 game. Baseball is brought to you by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or see your local Dodge dealers today. Derek Lowe is out of the game after 6 innings and 90 pitches. Melky Cabrera will bat for him as we go to the 7th. And so the Braves will go to that terrific bullpen of theirs. Lowe's only chance to get a win is if the Braves can get him a run here in the 7th against R.A. Dickey. Dickey had a 2-0 lead, but the Braves scratched a run in the 2nd and another in the 6th to get even.
And that's one of the big differences in the game, too, today, Garrett. When we were kids growing up, Ralph, you were playing, a 2-2 game in the 6th or 7th inning, this pitcher hit, he stayed in the game. The manager always gave him a chance to win the game.
Right. He deserved it, and I still believe that.
I do, too.
Even down by a run in the 7th, pitchers would often bat for themselves. 1-1 to Cabrera.
Well, the pitch count has really changed the game of baseball. It gives the teams a better chance to defeat the team by taking out the best pitcher you got in their game as a starter and putting in a relief pitcher who is not the best pitcher in your team. And the 1-inning pitcher like a Rivera or somebody like that makes it very difficult to hit for the hitter. But they can make a big difference in your ball club. When you have bad relief pitchers, you don't have a chance.
Popped up behind third. Tough play for anybody to get to, and it lands fair. Cabrera stops at first base as Duda overthrows Tejada, but backed up by Davis. And Cabrera stays put.
Well, that's the job of the first baseman. And really, with no one on base, you're the guy backing up that throw. The right fielder can come in. Pagan didn't come in. And really, it's ideally you want to have someone anchoring first base so that runner can't make a wide turn. So the right fielder is more in line to back up that play than the first baseman.
Well, Pagan is playing all the outfield positions, and it's hard to remember where you are.
That's true. Pedro Feliciano, who continues to pitch virtually every day, is up in the Mets bullpen. Eric O'Flaherty up in the Braves bullpen. Let's see if the Braves bunt here, and Infante squaring and takes ball 1. Infante 1 for 2 and a walk today with the go-ahead run at first base.
There's a guy that has a chance to lead the league in hitting, and they have him on that pitch anyway, bunting.
And he bunts it foul. 1-1. Infante starting the day was 15 plate appearances shy of qualifying for the league leaders. But if he goes at the pace that he's on, by the end of the year, he should have enough plate appearances to qualify.
Well, the other side of that coin, they can add on at bats, and he can still win the batting title without the 502 you need.
Tony Gwynn did that one year.
What year was that, Gary? Remember?
Not certain. It was the year he had 388.
Well,
good reason for that.
Exactly.
But you hit 388, you deserve the league hitting.
Probably could have added 40 at bats that year.
I couldn't imagine 388. Gosh almighty, it must be fun coming to the park.
Yeah, that's what they said about Stan Musial. He was always happy. Why shouldn't it be when you know you're going to hit 335, 340 every year?
Well, why was Ted Williams always so ornery?
I don't know. That's another story.
Is he still bunting on 2-1? Dickey throws over.
You could put the hit and run on. I would like to play myself, but it's tough to put a hit and run on. You see the infield right in. Of course, Davis has got to hold the runner on, and the infield, middle infield is a double play depth. It's hard to put a hit and run on with a knuckleballer, Gary.
You're right there. That's one of the reasons.
Way up high, and so Dickey now falls behind Infante 3-1.
Might be more inclined right here to put someone in motion
give
now.
It down, yeah.
Put someone in motion. Make it happen.
100 pitches for Dickey, who threw 127 his last start.
If I was David Wright, I would push back a little bit at third base just to cover a little more ground. If he's going to bunt him over, concede the bunt. You don't want a base hit in that hole. And then with runners on first and second or first and third.
Boy, I hate the bunt with 3-1. And he's swinging and lines a base hit into right field. Cabrera to second, he'll stop there, and so the Braves have the first two men on in the seventh. So Infante has his second hit of the game.
That's just good hitting. Oh, it's a fastball. How about that? Right down the pipe and up.
Dickey's usually good for a 3-1 fastball.
You bunt here now with Hayward. Every game's so important.
No, Dickey's not going to stay around to see it. Feliciano will come on to replace him to face the left-hand hitter Hayward. Call to the bullpen brought to you by Verizon. The signal is yours. Wield it to transmit anything you want.
Key.
10 hits. That's.
And the Pirates were just so awful. They couldn't even catch, Ralph.
I know it.
Pedro Feliciano in for the fifth straight day and in to face Jason Hayward, who shows bunt on the first pitch. Hayward has not had a sacrifice bunt in the major leagues.
Ball one, you can take it off now. You've got the infield in at the corners. Look at right, way in aggressively. Ike Davis in aggressively. You see the numbers on Pedro.
84th game, pushing toward his club record of 88 last year as Hayward misses on the bunt attempt, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, he is not used to bunting. There's no doubt about that.
Let him swing now with the corner infielders in. Let him swing it.
All right, Dickey gave up 10 hits today, did not strike out a batter. His best chances for a no decision if the bullpen can get it done.
Boy, Reyes really right behind the runner at second.
Hayward set to swing and takes high.
That leaves a big hole between third and short. You can see Jose right there. It's a big hole. We've seen Hayward's ability to go the opposite field.
Davis dropping back now after Hayward was not bunting the last pitch. And he takes a strike from Feliciano with a fastball, and it's 2-2.
Now Wright drops back at third base with a 2-strike count.
And Davis.
Martin Prado on deck, right-hand hitter. 2-2 to Hayward, who's 1 for 3 on the day. Comebacker for Feliciano. His only play is to first. And that's the first out of the inning, and that has the effect of a sacrifice, moving the runners to second and third.
Well, how fortuitous for the Braves.
That is called a swinging bunt, and it certainly serves the purpose of a bunt, moving up 2 runners.
Nope. He gets the job done swinging with a full swing. And they're probably going to walk Prado.
Boy, that's jumping from the frying pan into the fire to face McCann with the bases loaded. But that's exactly what the Mets will do.
You don't have an option there, do you?
Well, the thing about McCann, and I know that he had a ground ball out his last time up, but he's a fly ball hitter. So they'll leave Feliciano in to face him and hope for the double play.
Well, the hard part about him is the fact that he's been hot.
Yep.
Of course, he's the guy that made the National League the winner in the All-Star game.
That's right. He had the big hit. Got the National League off their losing streak.
We'll see how the Mets play their corner infielders here. Do they play back for a double play with the slow-footed McCann, or do they play Ike Davis in? I'd push him back.
I think you got to play back.
You got to. You're not going to squeeze with this guy. He's an all-star. He's a hitter.
Now this is the at-bat of the game as far as Feliciano and as far as the Braves are concerned.
And Ike Davis looking for guidance. And he's kind of in nowhere's land right there. I don't agree with this. Either you play in or you move back and cover ground. And he's moving back a little bit now. He should move back further.
Feliciano struck out McCann yesterday. Bases loaded, 1 out. And a breaking ball in for a strike. But McCann's had the upper hand against Pedro over the years. 10 hits in 27 at bats. That's a .370 average against Feliciano. Cabrera at third, Infante at second, and Prado at first with 1 out. And he thinks about a squeeze.
What?
I think he was just bluffing.
But
I think
he had
right.
a strike on him, though. If that ball's a strike, he's 0-2. What's he thinking?
I don't know.
I think Bobby's wondering the same thing.
He isn't thinking.
Oh, my goodness.
And now he steps out to
see what the signs are, yeah?
He needs to clear his head. And he takes outside. Well, it's been a rough couple of days for McCann. You know, he showed up at the ballpark Friday with bruises on his head, apparently from a fall at his pool. And then yesterday he got hit by the backswing of Ike Davis right in the helmet. So you can understand if he's a little woozy. Two and one to McCann with the bases full. And a broken bat liner. Tejada picks it off, and everybody gets back. That's the second out.
Well, let me tell you something. That is just a good pitch right there. Everything away for first 4 pitches, and he comes in with that hard sinker on his hands.
Right off the trademark and a broken bat semi-line drive. Look at where that ball hits the bat, right on the trademark. And shatters the bat.
That's going to be it for Feliciano. He does his job, gets 2 outs, retiring Hayward and McCann, and now they'll leave it to the former Brave Manny Acosta to try and get the 3rd out, with Derek Lee coming up with the bases full. The call to the bullpen brought to you by Verizon. The signal is yours. Wield it to transmit anything you want.
Drive my car like if we were in St. Louis on the series before. I'd drive my car to St. Louis and then fly to St. Louis, get in my car, and go to Palm Springs. So I'm away.
Manny Acosta comes in to face Derek Lee with the bases loaded, 2 out, in the tie game in the 7th. And the first pitch taken high for ball 1.
You know, I wonder why he would miss with a pitch that far away. I mean, that foot was a foot over his head.
Acosta pitched a scoreless inning Friday night. Lee 1 for 3 today. And the fastball misses, and Manny's behind 2-0.
I can understand why he missed with a pitch that close, but not over his head.
Cabrera, Infante, and Prado the base runners.
Well, you're in the field right now. You're ready to move. This is a good pitch to hit.
Lee has 10 career grand slams. And the curveball on 2-0 doesn't come close. And now Acosta in danger of forcing in the go-ahead run.
And the go-ahead run would be charged to Dickey.
3-0 to Derek Lee. There's a strike. 3-1.
Well, he's missed bad, Ralph, like you said, over his head. What, Lee's 6'5" with 2 curveballs. Got to figure 3-1. He's going to throw a fastball here.
Should.
3-1. Popped it up foul. That'll come back. And out of play. And now it's 3-2.
That might have been ball 4 with today's strike zone.
And of course, the so-called Lindsey Nelson, the carousel will be turning right here.
That could have been ball 4, though. Good pitch to hit, though. They say Lee is slowed down. His bat speed is slower now. He's not able to get around that inside pitch like he used to.
Everybody gets set to go with 3-2 and 2 out. And Lee fouls off the fastball. 95 from Acosta. Derek has 17 home runs this year, but only 1 since being traded to Atlanta. (3-2) and a high fly ball deep left field. Back goes Duda, looking up near the wall, and it's out of here into the the second deck. Grand slam, Derek Lee. And the Mets have been slammed for the 12th time this season. A monstrous shot. Derek Lee's 11th career grand slam has given the Braves a 6-2 lead.
Well, this is why they brought him, made the trade for Derek Lee, who hasn't been so sterling for him since that trade from the Cubs. With Chipper Jones out, they were hoping to get the power bat in the middle of the order. Boy, he came through big time. Youch. Goodbye.
Dave McLeod takes a strike.
Oh, there you go. Pennant fever.
The first two of those runs charged to R.A. Dickey. He's now on the hook in this game. The third run charged to Feliciano, and the last one, of course, to Acosta. 0-2 now to McLeod. The grand slam ledger for the Mets has been ridiculous. I mean, absolutely ridiculous. 12 grand slams against, the most in the majors, and the Mets have hit none. It is about as absurd a statistic as you can possibly imagine.
Well, the danger of pitching the way he did is you get behind and you got to try and catch up. And the batter's going to look at a lot of pitches. And, of course, he got a fastball on 3-2, and that was it. Walks will kill you. And I don't know what grand slams you guys will really kill you.
It's hard to win when a team hits a grand slam against you. Mets know that better than anybody this year. For Acosta, the fourth home run he's given up this year, and the second grand slam. He gave up the Melvin Mora grand slam here on August the 11th. McLeod lays off, and he stopped it. Gary Darling with the call, 3-2.
It's the 98th run Prado scored this year. He's going to score 100. He's had a terrific year.
Well, they got to walk, and that helped get that base loaded up.
3-2 curveball, and McLeod pulls it down.
Well, it all started with Melky Cabrera leading off with a base hit, a blooper. Pinch hitting for the pitcher.
And then Infante, first showing bunt, and then swinging away on 3-1, getting the base hit.
And Derek Lowe is the pitcher of record now.
There's ball 4 to McLeod. So Acosta unable to seal the deal here in the 7th inning. Gives up the grand slam and now a walk. Elmer descends on call.
Well, the success of a manager really depends on how many walks the pitchers give up on his team. Walks are the worst thing you can do as a pitcher, and they'll kill you.
Well, it's called the old free pass, right?
A walk is as good as a hit, and I would say, and really psychologically, it's better.
McLeod runs. Tolley's throw into the runner and goes into center field. And over to third goes McLeod. McLeod with his 6th stolen base. Tolley's error moves him to third.
Well, this is what McLeod brings. He has to hit, but he is a guy that can run, play good defense, steal a base. He's a spark plug kind of player, but he just hasn't hit.
Oh, that pitch was way high.
2-0 now to Gonzalez, who already has two out RBI hits today, and a chance for a third.
You know, this is the story of the Mets here, right here. Bringing in the relief pitchers and then not doing the job.
Raul Valdez, the left-hander, joining Elmer Descends in the bullpen. You got the left-hand hitter Rick Ankiel on deck.
And Gonzalez waving. 2-2. Hold foul. Cloth did well to get out of the way. That's why you take your lead in foul territory.
It might hurt, but it won't get you out.
Poke to shortstop, and Reyes plays it. The inning is over, but a damaging one for the Mets. And a huge one for Derek Lee and the Braves. Lee's 11th career grand slam and the 12th grand slam against Met pitchers this year. The second against Manny Acosta has given the Braves a 6-2 lead. Diamondbacks leading the Pirates in a game of note. The Phillies get an RBI single from Jason Worth in the bottom of the fifth to stretch their lead to 3-1 over the Nats behind Joe Blanton. The Reds with a magic number of 8 in the Central. Scoreless for the Astros. Cardinals got 2 in the first to go up on the Padres behind Adam Wainwright. The Giants play later this afternoon. The Giants a half game behind the Padres and 2 games behind the Braves in their 2 races as Eric O'Flaherty comes on to pitch the 7th for Atlanta. O'Flaherty making his first appearance in the series. Manny Acosta victimized by the grand slam ball for the 2nd time this season. Ike Davis will lead off for New York in the home 7th. Davis, Duda, and Tolley, the 3 left-hand hitters, due up. And that's why O'Flaherty's in the game. Davis takes a strike. Nick Evans has come out on deck to bat for Duda, excuse me. Davis is 0 for 2. Nice play by Alex Gonzalez going up the middle. Took a base hit away from him his last time up. And O'Flaherty gets ahead 0-2. Derek Lowe went 6 innings, allowed 2 runs, 4 hits, a walk, 2 strikeouts, a home run. He stands to win it now, looking for his 14th win of the year. Off the fist past the mound. With plenty of time for Prado, but he kicked it. Didn't have to barehand that ball. Davis doesn't run that fast.
Well, there you go. David Wright, early in the game with a slow runner, used his glove. Prado's got to know better than that. He had plenty of time to use the glove.
They score on a base hit for Ike Davis. It's a kind score. So Nick Evans will back to Lucas Duda. Duda went 0 for 1 today.
Nick's been doing a good job off the bench of late.
Swings at the first pitch fastball, 0-1. Evans struck out against Billy Wagner as a pinch hitter yesterday. Friday night had a double. That was against Takashi Saito. And now facing O'Flaherty. Josh Thole to follow. Mets down by 4 as they bat in the 7th after Lee's grand slam. And that one skips away from McCann, moving Davis down to second. So the wild pitch moves the runner up.
A changeup right there.
The fastball away.
Boy, oh boy, threw that one by him. This had some upstairs cheddar.
Flaherty, one of 3 quality lefties in that Atlanta bullpen with Wagner and Venters. Not quite as strong from the right side, especially now with Saito out. But the lefties in their bullpen can match up against anybody in the league. Three and 2 to Nick Evans. And he stays in there. Nick hit 23 home runs in the minor leagues this year. The bulk of his year in Double-A, after spending parts of each of the last 2 seasons with the Mets. Still just 24 years old. And he smacks that into left field for a base hit. Davis pulls in at third, and the Mets have runners at the corners with nobody out.
Nick continues to swing a good bat. Right on that fastball. And you got to be careful here. Just be. You're down 4 runs. Pace at a time when you have the speed of a guy like Davis.
So now Josh Thole is 1 for 2 today. Bounced into a double play in the 2nd. Single to left center in the 5th. That's trying to fight their way back down 6-2. And Thole takes inside ball 1. Now Farnsworth up in the Atlanta bullpen. Behind Thole, you've got the right-hand swinging Ruben Tejada, and then the pitcher spot. And Thole watches the strike, 1-1. They've gone to the 6th inning in Philadelphia with the Phillies up 3-1 on the Nats. Slow ground ball. Infante gets the out at second. Gonzalez turns the double play. A run comes in, but 2 outs. Davis comes home to cut the Atlanta lead to 6-3. No RBI for Thole.
Well, pitcher's best friend, Atlanta Braves' best friend right there. That's exactly what they needed.
Second double play Tolley's grounded into today. So 2 out and nobody on, so they'll leave the lefty O'Flaherty in to face Tejada. Ruben is 0 for 2 today. Robbed of a hit by Prado in the 2nd, then struck out in the 5th against Derek Lowe. Lowe struck out only 2 today after striking out 12 Washington Nationals in his last start. Now it's 0-2 to Tejada. Mike Hessman has come out on deck. He'll be a pinch hitter if Tejada can keep the inning going. O'Flaherty ahead 0-2, and he misses away. And Tejada down swinging for the second time today to end the inning. The Mets get a run back to cut it to 6-3. And our thanks to Ralph Connor. Thanks for joining us, Ralph.
All right, Gary. Thank you.
And we'll see you again. What? The last day of the season, right?
Yes, last day of the season on the 3rd.
We'll look forward to it, Ralph.
All right.
It'll be a memorable day.
Okay. All right. All right.
Without free score, Mets had a 2-0 lead, but the Braves tied it up in the 6th, and then Derek Lee's grand slam gave the Braves the lead. 6-3 now as Raul Valdez takes over the pitching for the Mets in the 8th inning.
Well, there's Raul's numbers. We had a rough outing the last time. That just jacked up the ERA.
Remember, he came in relief of an injured Henry Mejia on Wednesday night as Rick Ankiel swings and misses.
Just like Troy Glaus in the on-deck circle.
Ankiel fouls off the breaking ball, and it's 0-2. Ankiel 1 for 3, doubled into the right field corner, but was thrown out trying to stretch it into a triple in the 5th inning. Braves 6 runs and 11 hits. The Mets 3 runs and 6 hits. Valdez was tagged for 4 runs in an inning and a third in that game against the Pirates last week. Johnny Venter's getting ready in the Atlanta bullpen. Boy, has he been impressive.
But the Braves just got a bucket full of relief pitchers, don't they?
And that's why of any team, they can probably best afford to lose one of their top guys with Saito going down. Number descends up in the Mets bullpen. Breaking ball, and Ankiel's down on strikes. So Valdez stands the first man to face him. 1 out of the 8th.
Out of the strike zone.
Now Troy Glaus has been very lightly used since coming back to the disabled list in early September. As Keith mentioned earlier in the broadcast, he was carrying the Braves for the first 2-3 months of the season. But his numbers faded, and And he wound up on the disabled list.
Injuries.
That was the first one off Tolley and back. He's had some knee problems. He's had some back problems. So it's been tough for Gloss to stay healthy. And with the acquisition of Derek Lee, his playing time has vanished. There was some thought that when Gloss came back, they might use him at third base, which of course has been his position for most of his career. But with Prado and Infante both playing so well, Bobby Cox didn't feel as though he could sit either of those guys down. 1-2 to Gloss with Omar Infante on deck.
The Braves have left 7 men on base in this game, but boy, the big blow's the grand slam. Derek Lee, last inning.
Makes up for a lot, though.
He sure does. The difference in this ball game.
And now a full count to Gloss. In St. Louis, the Cardinals have added a run and lead San Diego 3-0 in the 5th. Padres regained the lead in the West by beating the Cardinals last night, while trailing today. 3-2 from Valdez and a breaking ball bounce foul. The other good thing that happened to the Padres yesterday, in addition to winning that game, is they got Chris Young back. It was only his second start of the season. He pitched the first week of the year and got hurt and had not pitched since. And 4 solid innings for San Diego yesterday.
The other good thing was that the Giants lost. How about Colorado a game back? Well, that is tight over there.
They've arguably got the 2 hottest hitters in the league hitting back-to-back in their batting order. I mean, Carlos Gonzalez has had a great season, and now Tulowitzki is just the hottest thing going. 14 home runs in September.
The Pods got to go 9 home, 5 away, 3 at Colorado.
But the Rockies played the majority of their games on the road, 8 of their last 14. And of course, they're not nearly as good a team away from Coors Field.
That's right. I got to get my daughter, my youngest daughter, tickets for Friday's game against, I believe, the Padres.
Kloss works out a walk, and the Braves have a 1-out base runner. Kloss hobbling down to first base. He's going to leave for a pinch runner. They'll bring in Diori Hernandez to run for Gloss. I mean, he can barely walk down to first. Look how much he's struggling.
He looks pained.
Not quite Luis Hernandez-esque, but for someone without a broken foot, that's quite a hitch in his giddy-up. So Hernandez, the pinch runner at first. 1 out and 1 on. And now Omar Infante, who's 2 for 3 and a walk today. And he takes high from Valdez. Infante had a base hit to set the table in front of the grand slam by Lee in the 7th. Well, in Philadelphia, Mike Morse is just homered in the top of the 6th inning, putting the Phillies behind 4-3. Well, there's good news for the Braves.
Well, they can pick up a game today. They can sure use that.
It's a 3-run shot by Mike Morse off Joe Blanton that turned a 3-1 Philly lead into a 4-3 Nationals lead. Two and 1 to Infante with 1 out and 1 on, and he smacks 1 foul. 2-2. R.A. Dickey went 6 innings plus, and he's on the hook in this game. He allowed 4 runs and 10 hits, walked 2, did not strike out a batter, hit 1. If Dickey were to lose this game, it would be just his 2nd home loss of the season. He began the day 7-1 at Citi Field with a 1.74 ERA. Line to left. Evans moving over and picks it off for the 2nd out. Infante hitting another ball hard. 2 out in the inning. By the way, the only loss that Dickey has suffered to date here at Citi Field was against the Braves.
Braves have had a nice approach with him. They've given him trouble.
It was right before the All-Star break when they beat him 4-2. And leading today 6-3. Now here's Hayward, who's 1 for 4. Singled back in the 5th inning. And takes a strike from Valdez. Pedro Feliciano went 2/3 of an inning. He did his job. He retired the only 2 hitters he was asked to. But he issued an intentional walk in between. That run scored, and it goes on Feliciano's ledger. That hardly seems fair.
Oh, the intentional walk?
Hey, if you give up an intentional walk and that guy scores, that should be a team run. That shouldn't be pitcher's run.
You got a point there. Here.
He wasn't asked to get that guy.
That's right.
One, 2 to Hayward.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Things that aren't fair.
Well, you know what your mom used to say to my mom and yours when we were kids growing up?
What did your mom say?
Some things, life isn't fair. Some things, you know, you got to hang with them.
She didn't say, "Oh, honey,
you can do everything right," and you know the chips fall the wrong way. Hang with them. It's like hitting a line drive with the bases loaded right at a second baseman or an outfielder. Did everything right, but you know, hang with them.
Well, sometimes you hit the 30-foot dribbler for an infield hit.
It's better to be lucky than good.
It all evens out in the end.
And not the good hitters.
Are you saying the good hitters have more line drive outs than dribblers?
Absolutely. Than those ping 230 hitters, absolutely.
I'll have to make a chart on that. Hernandez will run with 3-2 and 2 out. And Hayward pops one up in foul ground. A long run over for David Wright, but it's beyond his reach and on the dugout roof. That's where that batting average on balls in play comes in. You know, you hit a lot of line drive outs, you have a low batting average with balls in play.
That's true.
But if you hit them hard enough, nobody can catch them.
There's lots of spaces in the outfield to hit the ball where they aim.
There are. Again, the 3-2, and Hayward fouls another one off.
This is the best I've seen Raul throw in a while. He's got a little more giddy up on his fastball than I've seen in a while. He's just lost his. He's never had really a great breaking ball. He's had to locate it, but he's really flattened out, throwing up a lot of slow benders up there. But he's got good pop today in his fastball.
And he walks Hayward, so it's 2 walks in the inning from Valdez. And now they'll face Prado, where somebody else will, because Jerry Manuel heads out to the mound. Funny thing is, Valdez has been way more effective against the right-hand hitters than he has been against the lefties. And yet Jerry will bring in the right-hander to face Prado. Call to the bullpen brought to you by Verizon. The signal is yours. Wield it to transmit anything you want. Helmer descends, comes in to face Martin Prado with 2 out and 2 on. Helmer has been terrific.
Yes, he has. He's been Mr. Steady. He had a little bump on the road around a month ago, but just a mini bump.
Had a day off yesterday after a 1-2-3 inning Friday night, and just misses. To Prado, it's 2-0.
Just goes to show you don't have to knock off the radar gun. You don't have to throw hard to get people out. He knows what he's doing out there. He's a control pitcher. Moves the ball around.
Behind 2-0 on Prado, who's 0 for 3 today. And now 3-0. Brian McCann is the on-deck batter. And behind him, Derek Lee, whose grand slam is the difference in this game. Valdez faced 4 batters, walked 2 of them, struck out 1 of them. Sens throws a strike, 3-1. Mets have used 5 pitchers today. After R.A. Dickey went 6 innings plus to start. And Prado pops it up. Should be playable. Mike Davis calls off Tolley. Side retired. 2 walks and 2 left to the bottom of the 8th. 6-3.
News connect with the Mets on Twitter and on Facebook at Mets.com/connect. Be a part of the Mets social media community today. Don't miss out.
Which is your favorite social media device, Twitter or Facebook?
I don't. My daughters talked me in there. You see Johnny Venters coming in the pit. They talked me into getting on Facebook, and it's the biggest mistake I made. I don't even pay any attention to it.
Joaquin Arias pinch hitting against Venters. Takes ball 1. Well, I have been able to stay away from Facebook and from Twitter and from LinkedIn and on everything else. Arias has himself a pinch hit single. And the Mets trying to get started against the red-hot Venters here in the bottom of the 8th.
It's not an easy task. Venters just really having a terrific year. Nice hitting by Joaquin.
Well, the Mets need one more base runner to get the tying run to the plate. As Jose Reyes steps in. Reyes 0 for 3, robbed of a hit on a fine play by Derek Lee his last time up. And he takes a fastball strike. Derek Lowe went the first 6 innings, allowed 2 runs and 4 hits. Eric O'Flaherty pitched the 7th, allowed 1 run and 2 hits, and now Venters for the 8th. One and one to Reyes, batting right-handed for the first time today. Reyes hitting .300 from the right side of the plate, and really has done better than that against lefties because he had those right-handed at-bats against righties that he tried out when he first came back from the oblique injury in July. That didn't work out very well.
No, Jose was never comfortable in that third position. You could tell. And it really showed, Gary, when men were on base, he really tightened up and wasn't comfortable at all. He's much more suited as a table setter, the catalyst.
Double play ball right to Gonzalez. Infante with the turn, and did Lee stay on? He did. 6-4-3 double play against Reyes. The third double play turned today by the Braves.
Taylor made on a great throw, rushed by Prado. Boy, it's close on that, whether he stayed on the base.
Maybe his toe. So just like that, 2 out and nobody on. And Angel Pagan will step in. So Reyes and Pagan between them today have gone 0 for 7 at the top of the batting order. That's a tough way for the Mets to fight. That's got a 2-run homer from David Wright in the first inning. Their 3rd run scored as a double play was being turned in the 7th. And Pagan taking all the way has to spin. 1-0.
Not that close.
Bouncing ball for Infante to play on the back end, and that retires the side. So Venters comes in, faces 3 batters. He's done. Now to the 9th inning we go. 6-3 Atlanta. Who are they? By Chrysler. Visit Chrysler.com or see your local Chrysler dealers today. By HBO's Eastbound and Down. The new season premieres September 26th at 10:30 only on HBO. By Time Warner Cable's All the Best Triple Play. By Acela Express, where you can plug in and work or sit back and relax. Book now at Amtrak.com. By Capital One Bank. What's in your wallet? And by BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Joaquin Arias stays in the game at second base for New York, and Pat Mish will pitch and bat 8th.
Pat hasn't pitched in a while. His 9th appearance came up and started and did not fare well. Was relegated to the bullpen. A lot of hits he's given up. You can see hardly walks anybody.
Comes in with the left-hand batting Brian McCann to lead off in the 9th inning. McCann has gone 1 for 3 today. Pedro Feliciano retired him with the bases loaded and 1 out of the 7th on a jam shot. Pulled toward the hole. Davis can't make the diving play, and McCann has his 2nd hit of the day.
This ball took an up hop on Ike. He had it covered. The ball just came up.
So McCann is aboard, and now Derek Lee, who has the big blow in this game. It is 11th career grand slam in the 7th inning with 2 out off Manny Acosta. The 12th grand slam allowed by the Mets this year, a major league high. And the 7th grand slam hit by the Braves. Lee also has a double today, 2 for 4. He's had a good series swinging the bat. He has struggled for most of his tenure as a Brave, but he has 5 hits and 10 at-bats in this series. The Nats have tacked on a run on a Danny Espinosa home run and now lead the Phillies 5-3 in the 7th. Toward the hole, Reyes has it. Arias with a tough turn and can't make the play. Well, Arias had to reach for that throw, and it would have been a very difficult one to turn.
Either way you look at it, the only way they get 2 is if Wright gets over and cuts it off, and it was too far to David's left. What a jolly good effort.
Jolly good? Usually when you go into the British accent, that's not a good thing. 1 out and 1 on for Nate McLouth as the shadows start to encroach. Coming in from the third base side. They've covered the right-hand hitter's batter's box, but not the left-hand hitter.
And it has no effect on the hitters right now. The shadows are just not out enough. The ball's forever. It will be in the sunlight. No effect on the hitter. I'm sure the umpire and the catchers are very happy. They're in the shade now. Get a little respite from the sun.
It's not like it's a scorching hot day. This isn't St. Louis in July on AstroTurf. Nice 75-degree late summer afternoon. You know, by the time we get back to New York after this road trip, it's going to be autumn.
I welcome it. Some fireplace, fires,
leaves turning.
Out in the pergola in the backyard, the little fire pit going. Here, you and Lynn, they can just see it.
13 more games. 3-0 to McLeod.
Should be glad to have you home.
Are you in the booth for every game the rest of the week?
Except the last weekend, Saturday. Kurt gave me the day off.
Very nice of him.
Mr. Gowdy, thank you.
Here's a strike, 3-1. Oh, you got 2 off days coming up this week.
I told him I wanted to work camera 2 that day, but Al's camera.
Al is handcuffed to that camera. He's not going anywhere. 3-1 from Mish, and McLeod takes a strike, 3-2. Looking ahead to the last of the 9th, the Mets will have 3, 4, and 5 in the order coming up. Beltran, Wright, and Davis. As the Braves try to sweep this series from the Mets and put pressure on the Phillies. You know, the Braves, with their victory yesterday, clinched the season series from New York. They've won 10 of 17 this year. Since Bobby Cox's first full year as manager of the Braves in 1991, including this year, the Braves have now won the season series from the Mets 16 out of 20 years. Sounds about right, doesn't it? with all the problems the Mets have had, particularly winning at Turner Field and all the times the Braves have put a crimp in the Mets season. They've had some good days against the Braves. They had the 10-run inning against Atlanta in 2000 when Piazza hit that home run off Terry Mulholland. They had the memorable post 9/11 game. Broken bat grounder. Arias gets the out at second, and that's all. So 2 out of the inning. But more often than not, the Braves have been a huge roadblock in the Mets' way. And maybe with a new manager next year for the Braves, maybe that'll change. Maybe the worm will turn. Alex Gonzalez has 2 RBI hits today, 2 for 4. And it's taken high for ball 1. Popped up in foul ground. Ike right near the railing, and he makes the grab to end the inning. So a leadoff hit, but Mish doesn't allow a run. Now to the bottom of the 9th with the Mets down 6-3. The George Lopez Show, and right after the ball game you can flip it over to SNY for Lincoln Mercury Post-Game Live for all the scores, all the analysis, all the interviews. Lincoln Mercury Post-Game Live after the game on SNY. Well, the 22-year-old rookie Craig Kimbrell will come on for his first Major League save opportunity.
Well, he's a hard thrower, not a tall guy, 5'11". As Gary said, from Wallace State, City College in Alabama. Turned down $125,000 for the 33rd round pick in 2007 by the Braves and came back as a 3rd rounder the year later. It's only his 3rd year in organized baseball.
And he has been lights out so far in the big leagues. Very much a right-handed version of Billy Wagner, a little guy who throws hard. 97-mile-an-hour fastball to start off Carlos Beltran, who's 2 for 3 today. Singleton scored back in the 1st inning. And Kimbrell quickly gets ahead of him, gets even on him 1-1. So with Billy Wagner having saved each of the first 2 games of this series, the 38-year-old gets the day off, and Kimbrell gets his first crack at a save in a pennant race. 1-2. Bobby Cox puts him in a spot to succeed, brings him in with a 3-run lead. Probably much happier to do that than asking the 22-year-old to protect a 1-run lead for his first save chance.
And he's got a lefty and a righty. You see the score there in Philadelphia. Lefty and a righty up in the bullpen just in case.
Slider misses, and it's 2-2 to Beltran with David Wright on deck, and then Ike Davis here in the last of the ninth. Bobby Cox managing his last game in New York and trying to go out with a sweep. Beltran fouls off the fastball. Derek Lowe went 6 innings. He's in line for the win. He allowed 2 runs and 4 hits. Eric O'Flaherty allowed a run in the 7th. But Johnny Venters worked around a leadoff hit in the 8th. Braves pitchers have been helped out today by 3 double plays turned behind them. And Beltran whoops 1 foul. Kimbrel with 26 strikeouts in his first 13 1/3 innings pitched in the majors. Almost 2 strikeouts an inning. And now he's gone full to Beltran leading off. And that last pitch leads you to believe he may be overthrowing just a little bit in his first big league save chance.
His first time in the Big Apple, too.
Welcome to the big city. Beltran making him work. Ninth pitch coming to Beltran, and the breaking ball in there for a call, strike 3.
Oh boy, dropped the breaking ball on him. Pretty tough. The old back door. Oh, he thought it curved around the plate. Oh well. I have to agree with Carlos here. Let's see. Yep, it's close. Now, if that was a fastball going straight line, Gary, that's too close to take. But a curveball bending around, you got to. That wasn't a strike.
Except for Bruce Dreckman.
Hey.
And his opinion matters.
That's all. This guy's got some giddy up on his fastball.
David Wright hit a 2-run homer back in the first inning. Since then has grounded out twice, 1 for 3. Well, each of Kimbrel's last 5 innings of work, he has struck out at least 2 batters. And he's got 1 already in this inning. He's ahead 1 and 2 on Wright.
2 straight fastballs inside the David. It's got David's attention.
And David fussing with Bruce Dreckman. With Ike Davis on deck. Struck him out on 3 fastballs.
Threw that one right down the middle and down where David likes it and threw it by him. This is right down the middle.
98 miles an hour. Very impressive. So Kimbrel with another multiple strikeout inning. And now he'll go for the hat trick with Ike Davis coming up. Billy Wagner closed out yesterday's game by striking out the side in the 9th. And Kimbrel trying to do the same. Davis 1 for 3, had an infield single and scored a run in the 7th. That's down to their final out of the afternoon. And Davis hits one off the foot of the pitcher. Prado on the deflection makes the toss not in time, and Davis has his 2nd straight infield hit.
Well, good day by Davis. Remember that hit a ball hard earlier. Back in the 4th inning at the shortstop, Gonzalez made a heck of a play. This was a base hit all the way. So we don't call that an infield hit here.
What do we call it?
It would have gone through. It would have gone through the outfield. It's not an infield hit.
Did it leave the infield?
I guess technically.
Now Chris Carter bats for Nick Evans to try and keep it going for New York. And Carter takes a strike. So the Mets able to hit a fair ball against Craig Kimbrel, which they weren't able to do yesterday against Billy Wagner. Carter pinch hit yesterday and hit a hard ground ball and was retired. A ball and a strike to Carter. If Carter can keep it going, Josh Thole would be the tying run on deck. Kimbrel in the sunshine, Carter in the shadows, and he takes a strike. And now the Mets are down to their final strike. Now Kimbrel's 1-2, and the slider, an emergency hack by Carter, keeps the at-bat alive.
Barely stays in.
Whatever it takes, by any means necessary. R.A. Dickey on the hook in this game. 1-2 to Carter. And a slider strikes him out, and the ball game is over. Kimbrel strikes out 3 for his first major league save, and the Braves sweep the 3-game series from the Mets as Derek Lee's grand slam boosts Atlanta to a 6-3 win.
Well, Mets came in with high hopes to play spoiler here after the 4-game sweep of the Pittsburgh Pirates, but the Braves come in here having to win on the road, and they were up to the task. Sweeping the Mets 3. They're hoping to close 2 games. Washington's holding on to a 5-3 lead in the 7th in Philadelphia. And there's Bobby Cox, his last game managing here in New York.
And so Bobby waves bye-bye, and Lee is a winner as the Braves take 11 of 18 from the Mets this year. Game summary brought to you by Chrysler. Visit Chrysler.com today. Derek Lee's grand slam broke a tie against Manny Acosta in the 7th inning, and that lifts the Braves to the victory and gives them a chance to put